Hi friends, this is Marilyn from tarotclarity.com, and I thought today I would just share something with you that I'm not selling, but it's just something that you can make for yourselves and not have to pay somebody to do it, you know. And it's a fun activity, I think, um, regarding divination in general. Now, I had mentioned before, going back, that my husband and I are planning a family vacation, including the kids and the grandkids, for a nice family thing. And it occurred to me, wouldn't it be a fun opportunity on those nights where maybe the young people aren't going out, that if we're all together, to have some activities that we might not normally do. Now, of course, we could just play cards, which I love playing cards. But we could do other things. And so I came up with this idea for a divination box, which I'm not going to sell. I'm sharing it because you can make one for yourselves too. So let me flip the camera and show you the kind of activities that the divination box will include. So I've had this unfinished wooden box from a place like Michael's or Joann's Fabrics for a long time, and I just kept it because I thought one day I'll use it for something, and I found the purpose. I decided to create my prototype divination box with this box, and I thought about the kinds of things that I probably would like to include in the box. What type of divination activities. So one of the first things I thought of was scrying. The art or the practice of losing oneself, in a reflective surface. Now I do have, and let's see if I can tilt up the camera to show you. I do have a scrying ball, an obsidian scrying ball. But I'm not going to take that on vacation. So I wanted to create a scrying surface, which I did with a mirror. With a glass. But we have grandchildren that will be present, and not that I would ever let them get their hands on this or hurt themselves with it. It occurred to me that maybe it's not too safe. So I may substitute it with a black bowl whereby I'll fill it with water, because this is absolutely adequate. You just want to be in a dark room, no matter which one you use. You want to have a light source, which is why I've included to non-burn down the accommodations candles, and let your imagination go wild, So scrying for me is something that I do regularly, and it was something that I wanted to include in the kit. Now, some of you recognize the Artisan Tarot pouch with their Noble tarot deck. Of course, I'm a tarot reader, so how can I create a divination deck without a tarot deck? For this particular box, I'm only putting in the Noble deck with only the trump cards or the triumph cards, because it fits better. But I will be bringing so many other tarot decks with me on this vacation that this is just the only one that's going on in the kit. A regular deck of playing cards, which can be interpreted, can be used for interpretation. And for each of these activities, I've prepared a booklet, which is printing at the moment, but it's nothing fancy. It's just a 12-page booklet that I've created explaining how, or rules of thumb, in order to use each of these divination activities. And so I have a section in my little booklet on how to interpret playing cards. And I am bringing multiple decks of playing cards because I like to play cards, and also just for variety. I like variety in my cards, whether it's in tarot or playing cards. Then I brought lots of dice. Now, I like doing divination by dice. It's something I do on the regular. But also, if we play card games, and there's 6 or 7 of us, we each need 5. So I made sure that we each have enough dice for each of us to have 5. Charms, interpretation by charms. So I put together about 30 to 50, charms, and we can do charm reading. It's fun. It's not something that I regularly do. My bread and butter is tarot interpretation, but I can read, any of us, not just me, can interpret anything, and sometimes, you get better you hone in better at your own skill when you open your mind to do other things. And so a vacation for me would be a fun time to try to use the charms as something different than what I'm accustomed to. And also, I have a pouch of my own charms that I've collected over the years, which I don't want to take with me because I don't want to lose them. I follow the rule of thumb: don't take anything on vacation that you're not willing to lose. And so these are easily had. And so I will take these charms with me. And my pendulums. They're not my 2 favorite pendulums, but I like them a lot. And they're easy to get. You can get, either of these pendulums online, probably for under $20 or $30. I like using pendulums for when I really want a direct answer from myself. The way I use a pendulum is to really get to what I want to do. You know how many times we all aren't sure about something we should do, and we're influenced a lot by other people. And even when we draw cards, sometimes cards can be interpreted in more than one way. And if you're doing the reading for yourself and you're the one who's doing the interpretation, it's easy to see both ways rather than allowing another third-party person to interpret the cards in the way that they really, interpret it for you, right? So I like to use a pendulum in those instances. Like, for example, I use it for health, for my health, like, should I do this? Should I do that? Well, not should I. It's more like, well, for example, when I had to have my brain surgery, the doctor said you could do it or not do it. But if you don't do it, you have to come in like on the regular, and there's lots of tests and they're very unpleasant. If you do it, you still have to get tested, but we can do it at 5-year intervals. And so I put it to the pendulum. What do I really want? Which option really is better for me? Because I couldn't decide consciously, and it helped me make the decision, and my decision was to get the surgery. And these aren't divination, but they're fun, a fun activity. This is also from my friends over at Artisan Tarot. They have ESP cards that you can purchase on their website, as you can purchase their Trumps Only deck and the pouch, as well as all their other tarot decks, But it would be fun. I thought this would be another fun activity that my family doesn't do, a lot. I remember these as a kid. My dad was a professional hypnotist, and he had these cards, and he would use them on me. I was like his little guinea pig. And when I saw that they were selling these, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a blast from my past, and I haven't used them in decades. But it would be a fun activity to do with my family, just to see what kind of results we get. And another thing that I don't have in here is I drew and printed a handprint with the major lines of the palm that are used in palmistry. And I created in the booklet, I created a section on how to interpret those markings in a palm. So I haven't put that in this prototype, but it is included. And it's not something that I do I don't think I've ever done palmistry, but again, it's just something fun to do to challenge myself to use my brain to these ends in a different way. The last activity is using letter cubes for spelling out answers. And I'll tell you what, these really yield some very, very interesting results. Now, all I did here was repurpose the blocks from a boggle game that I had for my kids when they were young. I never threw out the game, and I kept it. And when I thought of divination dice, I was like, whoa, this would be a great idea. And the case I just repurposed from Pilot pens. Yeah, I use fountain pens to write. So, and I kept the box, I have a couple of these, and they fit perfect. So it's like, wow, the Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, right? The cubes fit perfectly in this box, and there was no reason not to put the two together. So there it is. And this is something that you guys can put together for yourselves, and you can choose whatever activities you like. Like I like, divining with the dice, with the letter cubes rather. I like divining with dice, and my booklet has, what every combination of numbers means interpretively, and directions on how to do it properly, as how to do the pendulum properly, how to do how to do the charm reading properly, how to interpret cards, and how to interpret the tarot, and how to scry, how to scry as well. So as a parting gift, I haven't told them yet, but as a parting gift, like when we go our separate ways, I've created a box for each of them to take home with them as a reminder of our vacation. And each of their boxes will have the 12-page booklet describing in detail how to do each activity, how to set it up, and how to do it. And giving them, the objects that they need for scrying, and for charm reading, and for interpreting playing cards, and for doing the letters. And in this case, I've only given them each 6 die, but since each couple will get a set, they can combine their letter, their letter die. And to do divination by number dice, you only need 3. So that's why they each only got 3. My prototype has all those dice so that we can play card games. And they're each getting their own pendulum and the candles. And I thought this would be a really nice thing to give them, after the vacation is over. And I could give it to them during the vacation. It doesn't have to be after the vacation. And this is just the wax stamp that I have. I've had for a number of years, that when I give gifts or whatever, I usually use the wax stamp for the wrapping paper or whatever. So I just put it on there. I bought a bunch of boxes for not too much money. And I thought this would be a really nice gift to give each one of them. And of course, the 12-page booklet will go in each box. So, I think this has been an inspiration for you guys, because there's no reason why you have to pay somebody to do this. You could make your own, just repurpose some objects that you have to, be creative. All this was a glass from a frame, and I painted the back of it midnight blue, but you could spray paint it black or whatever. I just, covered the edges in electrical tape so that it won't hurt anybody. And you can decide which is better for you guys, to use a bowl with water or to use a scrying mirror. And, know, almost everybody has a deck of playing cards. And if you're watching my videos, chances are good you already have a deck of tarot cards. And, you know, as far as, you know, interpreting or having dice, they're like so cheap, you know, super cheap. Pendulums are very inexpensive. And I made the letter cubes for my children's boxes, but for my own, I just repurposed a boggle game, you know. Oh, and everybody's getting some quartz crystals, because how can you have a divination box without your recharging stones? And they all these boxes have crystals. I didn't show them. Well, they're in here somewhere. Huh. I'm sure I put them in there. Well, I'll have to put some in there because I guess I missed this box. Well, anyway, I hope this has been fun for you and inspirational for your next trip when you want to have activities and you just want to step out of the norm and do something for yourselves that's a little different than usual. Why not create a divination box? The only thing that required the most, you know, effort was to research how to properly do each activity. You know, like how to properly cast a space for divining with, you know, dice, and palm reading and stuff like that, you know, because I wanted to do it properly. But other than that, it was, you know, super easy. Until next time, friends, peace and stay well.